Should you incorporate interval training with your weight training in the same workout? This question really piggybacks on a question I answered last week, and I will link to it in the show notes about full body and split routines. Which one is the best? For right now, however, know this. This is a really short episode and it is a reader subscriber question. So know this, I'm answering questions that are most popular, most often asked, and that are either added to show notes on flipping50.com or added to the show on iTunes at flipping50. And I'd love it if you'd leave a comment and rate the show. It really helps spread the word. But let's dig right back into this question. What about it? Should you put your cardio intervals and weight training together in the same workout and alternate the two? So for some of us who need a little bit more variety, and that is genetic, actually, you can actually be predisposed for needing more variety in your workouts in order to prevent boredom. So if you drop out because you're doing the same old ho-hum all the time, or you find yourself wanting to go to this class and then a totally other class and a different time of day, there may be some reason to that. But let's consider this. The best afterburn, meaning the best and biggest calorie burn or energy expenditure that occurs after exercise, which is really the biggest meaning of exercise for metabolism boosting. For exercise, it occurs after strength training. The afterburn for exercise is biggest after strength training. Letting that sink in. It's even better than for interval training. And that's like free energy expenditure. So what I mean by that is I'm sitting down right now recording this podcast. Imagine that. If I, and I did, worked out this morning, I'm still spending more energy to sit here in this chair right now than if tomorrow I don't strength train and I'm recording another podcast. So it's the afterburn. It's the number of hours after you exercise that your body is still burning at a higher rate, burning calories or energy at a higher rate than it was before it started exercise and you were at rest. And the reason is it's like a payback because your body used a lot of oxygen. It used and needs to repair a lot of tissue. There are micro tears that happen in the muscles. There was a lot going on in circulation, in getting oxygen to all of the working muscles, and all of that requires payback time. And that is going on for hours, the harder you work out or the longer you work out. And because we know for hormone balancing, longer workouts are not your answer. I know you're not doing that. Don't make me come over there. We know you're going harder, right? So you're reaching fatigue in your muscular workouts, meaning your strength training workouts, and you're getting breathless in your interval training, and you're taxing your body, which means it's got to pay its taxes back, okay? So it's your metabolism revved up while you're sitting at your desk or enjoying your downtime. You don't get that when you start mixing up your intervals and your strength, not to the same extent. And I know that if you only judge from how you feel when you pour yourself out of the fitness studio after a workout or pull yourself out of the basement or from the backyard, that may be hard to believe. You may be thinking, no way, that felt like a great workout. But it's got to be about more than just feeling like it left you tired, reaching muscular fatigue and truly getting breathless and reaching a certain point that we would call VO2 max or above it in a physiology studio means your body truly was at the height. It wasn't just getting overall tired during the course of a class or after a combination of exercises. You tend not to when you start combining or alternating. Say you do a pattern that this is common. You might do 2 or 3 strength training exercises in a row and then do maybe a minute or minute and a half or 2 minutes of jumping rope or jump on a treadmill or a bike and pedal as hard as you can. So you're getting the heart rate up again. But what happens is you tend not to get to muscular fatigue during your strength training sets, which stimulates long-term metabolism changes. So if you miss that point, you won't be truly changing your body composition long-term. It's more or less like you're just going to need another hit. You've got to come back. I've heard someone say about boot camps, it's addicting. I love it. And truly, in order for you to get results, it is. If you stopped going for a while, you would pretty quickly probably see that you needed to change your dietary habits in order not to gain weight, because you're not going to be burning those calories because you haven't really created a body that has a boosted metabolism. You just had a boosted calorie burn for an hour or so. Big difference between creating a body that has the ability to expend more energy all the time and creating a greater energy expenditure for half an hour or an hour. Strength training creates the former, the body that has a better metabolism. So if you want greater fat loss and or greater just fat and muscle optimization, you want to spend energy doing the highest quality exercise, not just moving in a frenzy fast. You'll find a lot of group fitness and boot camp classes with circuits and people moving rapidly around the room, and they're doing a lot of movement, but with less specific purpose. They're using battle ropes, and they aren't even sure what the purpose of that is. It's going to definitely elevate the heart rate, and it's going to do it and use the upper body and core in a way that usually you don't include in exercise for cardio. But do those muscles really reach true muscular fatigue to change body composition or not? That's the question. And the same is true of burpees. They're doing burpees using the whole body. And there are about 5 places in a burpee that your joints are at risk. Heart rates elevate definitely, and fatigue sets in quickly, but maybe not muscular fatigue, maybe overall fatigue, which makes those 5 places of potential injury even more risky compared to reward. What's the real purpose of a burpee? Not sure there is a specific goal with it other than it's hard and it uses no equipment. It will elevate your heart rate, but check in with your wrists, your shoulders, your lower back, your knees, and your blood pressure before you do it. If you don't have good form doing a squat, a plyometric jump, a plank, and you aren't able to come from lying to standing quickly without dizziness, then a burpee is a no. Now, enough on the types of movements often done in crazy interval training boot camp sessions. What about something more calm, like hopping onto your treadmill or a bike for 2 minutes of sprinting between your weight training exercises? It will elevate your heart rate, yes, but is it as valuable as splitting your strength training, doing strength training first or second, and then doing interval training to follow or to precede it? Do you actually save time by blending them together? Do you burn more calories, or do you have an afterburn of more energy and therefore more fat burning? The answer is not necessarily. And if the fast intervals leave you weaker during your strength training, you may do less good during strength. So say you're used to doing a bent over row with 15 pounds. And if you're not sure what a row is, don't worry about that. Focus on the weight. You're used to using 15 pounds when you do strength training exercises in sequence and just do strength training. But let's say you're doing interval training and you're doing your bent over row and you're doing a chest press and a squat, and then you're going to jump on and do that interval training again. As you're doing that, you may find that pretty soon you can only do 10 pounds or 12 pounds in that bent over row. Now, I'll give you this. Fatigue is fatigue. So if you reach muscular fatigue with a lighter weight, that's okay. You've reached muscular fatigue, and that really is the point. But if you are truly strong enough, capable enough on a good day to lift those 15 pounds, then I would say you're doing a less quality workout for the strength of your muscles that will boost metabolism to help you burn more fat or have optimal body composition when you split and alternate. So I would rather see you split, to be more clear. Do your cardio or your strength first, followed by your cardio interval training, if that's what it is, and your strength training separately, as opposed to blending them together. So, is it detrimental? As long as you maintain proper form and you don't swing things around? First, here's my answer. Always come back to your goal, and then decide what's the best protocol based on the best research that we have for women just like you to accomplish that goal. You see a lot of variety for variety's sake. And if one trainer or instructor is doing it and it's popular or it's trending, many trainers and instructors will jump on that bandwagon. If you followed a lot of trends and if your body hasn't changed positively doing so, then there's a reason, and it's a gamble. So if it wasn't based on research about you, it isn't probably as likely to get you results. We do know strength training has the greatest afterburn. If you remember the Q&A that I answered just last time, I referred to that quite a bit. Intervals have an excellent afterburn. Combining them, though, doesn't make it even better than that. It actually washes out the value of either one. So I will say this. If you are that person who needs a lot of variety to continue to be excited about exercise, then you may want to have this in your routine regularly, but not necessarily every time. Throw it in once a week or once every couple of weeks to give yourself some variety. But then focus by coming back to what's my number one goal and priority? What transformation do I want? And what's the best thing for me to be doing to get that? And then practice that 80-20 rule. Do that 80% of the time, 20% of the time. If you need a little bit more entertainment to keep it fun, spicy, go ahead and do it. If you've got a question, leave it below the show notes today at flipping50.com/intervals or weights. And I'll see you on the flip side.